So we've got a little bit of an issue.
Oh shit, that turned out like shit. It's just full of air bubbles. It's been really, really difficult to get this glass work done. It just gets too hot too fast. This turned out really, really bad.
I think the problem, or one of the problems, is that because the resin kicks off so fast, we kind of rush through this to get all this work done in one sitting, so that it doesn't tack off before we're done putting layers on. And because of that, when we wet out the balsa, we let it soak in for a couple of minutes, but we probably don't let it soak in long enough. So the balsa probably doesn't get as impregnated with resin as it should. And so then we put the glass on and we put the resin on and we put another layer of glass on, and then the balsa is like sucking resin from the backside of it. And so you get kind of a dry laminate because the two layers are laminated together, but then it's not sticking to the balsa. So I don't think it's gonna be worth grinding everything out and doing it again, because this core is just meant to stiffen up the deck a little bit. It doesn't really matter if it has some delamination. I think what we're gonna do is just like drill a couple of holes and inject it from the bottom with resin. Like drill a hole in the bottom, drill a hole in the top, stick a syringe with resin and like fill it up from the bottom. At least to the big ones. And the smaller ones we're not really gonna care too much about. And it did it on this one too. Probably can't see it quite as well, but that's just because this was kicking off like as we were glassing it, so we couldn't even roll the air bubbles out if we wanted to. And this one, it's not quite as bad. There's like two big air bubbles here and then a couple of smaller ones, but again, I mean, it's insanely stiffer than it was, so it's super good enough. But we have a ton more glass work to do, and it's only gonna get hotter this summer. We need to cool this boat down.
So today I went to the hardware store and bought a much larger air conditioner.
The first thing I've got to figure out how to do is how to install an air conditioner. Technically never done it before. It's got an interior unit and it's got an exterior unit and it's got some coolant hoses that go between the two. And it should be pretty straightforward. One of the issues is the coolant hoses, the only ones they have are 6 meters long, and I'm hoping that's going to be long enough to run the unit from under the boat. And if not, I'll be installing it like in our stairs, I think, because I don't want to put on the boat because that vibration is going to be loud inside because we have a big drum and we film, and having that deep hum all the time would be kind of annoying. So got to figure out where I can actually install this thing first. All right, that should be long enough. A little bit to spare. Sweet. All right, well, it looks like this unit's gonna fit. It's gonna fit well on the bulkhead. We don't have a lot going on in this general area because this is gonna be a chalkboard when we're done. So it's gonna have a settee underneath it and the nook. And then back here is gonna be like some shelving of some variety. So hopefully this can stay installed for a while. It does look like I'm gonna either need to figure out how to get a vacuum pump and a refrigerant charger, or just call up a AC guy to come and finalize the connections, because they gotta purge the whole system and add refrigerant. So that's gonna be challenging with my very limited Italian, but we'll get it done. The hose is long enough that I can connect it. The refrigerant hose and the wiring can come in from the side, and it'll run down to the outside unit, which is underneath the boat, which is perfect. And then at some point we're gonna have to take this thing back out, but for now it should keep this boat nice and cool. Time to go on the phone and make some calls and try to find an AC guy that can come out today and charge the system. All right, well, I've got about as much of the AC installed as I can get. Some AC experts, some local repair guys just showed up and
They're gonna give me a quote and come back after lunch to hopefully finish the install, because I need to connect all of the refrigerant lines and then purge the system, vacuum the system, and then add refrigerant, which I just don't have the tools to do, and it's much easier just to hire the right person to do that job. So in the meantime, I'm gonna start drilling some holes and injecting some resin with a syringe into all of those voids. I tested a few already and it looks like it's gonna work pretty well. There's just enough of a gap behind there that sort of infuses it with resin, sort of like vacuum infusion, the opposite. As long as I drill a hole at the bottom and a hole at the top so the air can escape, it looks like it's gonna work pretty well. So I'm just gonna do that while we wait to finish installing these. In there. You can't push too hard, otherwise it squirts back to you. And apply just a little bit of pressure, it slowly works its way in. It looks a lot like vacuum infusion. All right, check this out. Here is a spot where I drilled 2 holes, and there's a bit of delamination behind it from the dry layup. This looked like that earlier. Here's one that I didn't fill. Here's one that I didn't fill. Here's one that I did fill. Like this whole area, you kind of see it. This whole area used to look like this. So it's definitely working. Here again, you can see I filled here, and I kind of infilled to here, and then I need to drill some more holes and do this section. Although this section has fairing filler on it, so it is solid, even though it kind of doesn't look solid. But that's definitely, I need to fill that one, need to fill that one. Here's some more. This area is now filled. That looks good. This area isn't. So it's definitely better. So I'm just gonna repeat that process a few more times and try to get the whole rest of this filled in. The nice part is it's sort of it's self-sealing, because the resin kind of oozes out the hole a little bit, covered in tape, and then we just have to sand the surface a little bit. But I think it's gonna work fine. Again, like if this was a hull or a race boat or something serious, then we'd be doing this differently. But for our needs, this is good enough, and it's a learning experience. So now we know. Pre-wet your balsa more than you think you need to pre-wet your balsa. I think when we do the other side, we're gonna wet it out to the point where it gets tacky, like this resin has already become tacky, so that we know it's super saturated, and then we're gonna laminate over the front of it. That's gonna be the plan for the other side, and hopefully it'll do better. I guess we'll see when we do the other side after the aircon gets installed today. Check this out. Oh, feel it. It is probably oversized and overkill. But yeah, the guys just finished running the refrigerant through and hooking up the cooling lines, which is the thing that I couldn't do. Super convenient. Texted them on Google and they showed up, 2 hours later for a consultation, and then came back in the afternoon and finished the install, which is fantastic. I think we're like ahead of the curve on the AC install game this year, because I think most people are probably not quite as hot as it is inside this boat. I'm definitely gonna have to build some sort of box over this thing though to keep the dust off, because just installing it, there's already like some really light dust on it.
but we'll have to figure that out tomorrow because it is 5 o'clock and that means it is the end of the day. Resin project has worked out pretty well. I've got a bunch more to do, but generally speaking, I think that's going to be a good test. Check this out. Where's that? There's a bad spot. There's a good spot. There's a really good spot. Bad spot. Bad spot. Repaired spot. Good spot. So I think that's going to be a good. Solution. So more of that to do tomorrow. Air conditioning is definitely going to help, and then we can glass in the other side, and then keep going. This is fantastic. It's going to make the summer so much more tolerable because we are out in the open, exposed to the sun, and it gets fucking hot in here. All right. See you guys tomorrow. Why are you wearing a jacket in the middle of summer?
It's cold inside today. I love it. Then installed the monster air conditioning.
I had help.
I thought it was gonna be too big, but I think it's nice. No, it feels really good. I think this is gonna help. So we're gonna be able to do all this, and hopefully we don't have to do the same thing here that we had to do on the other side, which was like impregnate the bubbles with some extra resin.
Yeah, I think we have a better plan today.
I'm excited to not like sweat while we do this. And then the resin's gonna have time to cool off and we have time to work it before it dries. So I'm excited. But what I'm mostly excited about, I'm gonna get to try my mask today.
Avatar.
Yes, then says I look like the Avatar characters.
Somewhere between Avatar and going for a deep dive job.
Or
grinding fiberglass.
Or Breaking Bad.
Ooh, well, we have all the ingredients. We have all the stuff that makes it look like we're about to like make meth.
Have you explained to the people why you've upgraded your mask?
Should I take the mask off to explain
Probably.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, so we've been working on the boat and grinding fiberglass and with chemicals and everything, and we've had our respirator mixed with the goggles, like the normal respirator, like these guys. And they work fine, like they do the same job, they work well, they protect our lungs and our from dust and from chemicals. If you guys know me, I've had acne problems for a very, very long time, and when I finally found what worked for me to clear up my skin, I'm trying to be as careful as I can. And the problem with those respirators is that when you put it here and then you have the goggles, you still have a lot of exposed skin, and that exposed skin is exposed to all the dust and all the fumes and whatever it is, but I've noticed that my skin's been acting up and has been breaking out quite a lot the past couple of weeks. So to fix that, we've got a full mask like this, so that there's actually no skin will be exposed, because not only I'll have the mask that's gonna be like all the way down my hairline and my jawline, but then I'll have the Tyvek hood on top of that. It's a bit of an investment, but I think it's worth it. It's also like our mask that we have worked fine, but this is better. I've already had the chance to try it out because I was vacuuming some fiberglass dust in here, and I think this is gonna be great. And I'm going to make sure that, just like I've been doing before, after every use and before every use, I wipe it with some sanitizing wipe. I like doing this project, but it's a bit of a compromise because then I know that my face is going to be breaking out, and I'm trying my best to prevent that.
Problem that I'm having right now with this big of a mask is that you see where it touches my nose? It's like digging almost up too far up against my eyes. So it's limiting my visibility, but also when I cinch it down a lot, it creates a bit of a pressure point. But if I don't cinch it down, you actually can see there's like little gaps where air and stuff come through. So I think a smaller size will be just fine. But in the meantime, this will do. So today we're going to be doing this side of the side deck. And then that'll be all. That's it and that's all.
Okay, let's see what we've got. Oh, that looks good.
Ooh. Oh, it's really good. I don't see any
So-
like massive air bubbles.
It's been about 2 days since we've done the glass work.
Oh,
And
it's
then
really good.
this looks really nice actually. There's no air bubbles at all. It's nice and dry. Should we peel the peel
I mean,
pie
there's like little air bubbles, but not like those big, like massive.
Yeah, it's not like the
laminated
other
dry
side.
spots. There's like the typical, like really small air bubbles that are kind of impossible and difficult to get out. But,
So 2 things that definitely work. One is pre-wetting the balsa core.
but like
A lot.
like letting it almost cure on the balsa. Because the first round we did, we resin with 2% catalyst.
Mm-hmm.
We mixed with 2% catalyst, so it went off quicker, and it was like really tacky by the time we started putting on the glass side of it. So that definitely made a difference.
Yeah, and then
This is all rock solid.
the second thing that makes a difference is the air conditioning. Because
Well-
it cooled everything down and it gave us time to actually work all the glass properly instead of rushing through the project. We actually had time to remove all the bubbles instantly. So
Yeah, I think that made the biggest difference. Is it
It
gave
looks
us
good.
time. All right, should we take the peel pie off?
should we take the peel pie off?
Let's take the peel pie off.
Yes. Yeah. Look at that. So good. Ouch. Ooh, just scratched myself. Yeah, there's a couple little bubbles, but nothing. I don't think it's anything that's problematic.
Nothing like those big boys on the
No.
other side.
This is so satisfying. I'm gonna do it here. Ooh. So nice.
Nice.
Very cool. Yeah, this looks great. The next step is going to be to glass the ceiling, which is going to be a challenge of its own, I think. Because we're going to have to be doing it like this way. Our neck is going to be so happy about that. But I think we'll be all right. What do you think?
I think that this turned out really well. Like really well. Yeah, having the air conditioner allowing us to like take our time and like really wet it out and not have it like go off before it's too early. Turned out really well. So if we are gonna like hit anything or take a wave over the deck, we'll just make sure it comes over the port side because this one's gonna be stronger than this. I'm kidding. No, actually, once we like injected resin into the other side, and they're gonna be basically equal. Just filling in those big holes where the port lights were with glass and then coring the side deck has already made the cabin top so much stiffer. Also, infilling all these like depressions where the mold went up to match the turtle shell, we filled those with like goo already. Glassing over that's obviously gonna make it stronger, but the cabin top is already significantly stiffer than it was when it was full of holes. So check this out. This is how hard I was jumping up before. It was blowing out like 2 inches. Yeah, so just glassing in the side decks and adding core has made the cabin top significantly stiffer. It still flexes some, obviously because like everything's unsupported. By the time we put the bulkheads all on the side and we put some glass on the underside of the cabin top, I think that it's going to be plenty stiff enough and plenty strong enough. So we might not need to add ribs, but we'll see next week when we glass in the cabin top.
Yep. It is starting to rain, so I think we're gonna call it, and we'll see you guys next episode. Cheers!